Sawubona, welcome to Zulu with Dingani. In this lesson, we will focus on a very important part of Zulu. We call these Concords. Some people call them link words. They are so important in learning Zulu that this will be the only part that will show you that you are not a Zulu person if you mix these things up. Let's see what these things look like. First of all, it'll be a great idea for us just to look on the left column and just go through each of these. So in Zulu, when you say I, you said ngi, which is NGI. When you said you, a person who you're talking to, you said u. And when you talk about the second person, she or e, you'll notice that it's the same, but the tone changes. This one will be u. That means you raise your voice a little bit. And if you say they in Zulu, you say ba. If you said you, meaning you all, you said ni. And when you say we, you use the word si, which is si. This is very important. You might think of these in English. You say, well, these are pronouns. At some point, they do function as pronouns, but as you will see in these examples, they are not pronouns at all. They can play a role of being a pronoun, whereby they can stand in a sentence to represent the subject. But in other cases, as you'll see in examples, you'll see that you'll have the subject, but you still use them. That's when we know that these are just link words, they're not pronouns. Let's take the first sentence and see how it goes. Before we get into that, probably let's familiarize ourselves with this vocabulary. Bona in Zulu just means see. You'll remember that this word from Sawubona, meaning I see you. And Inja means dog, just the dog. And let's see, how do you say I see a dog? Here is the sentence. Ngibona inja. So I see a dog. And in this sentence, the NGI, which is our Concord, really function as a pronoun. And don't get confused because it won't always happen like that. That's why I said in some cases you'll see them functioning as a pronoun. Here it stands for me. I am not there. The only thing that represents me as a subject is NGI. So Concord working as a pronoun. Let's go to the second sentence. In the second sentence, it's somebody else, or it's you now. You are seeing the dog. So I say, ubona inja. Again, over here, the you, which stands for you are not represented here, but you just stand for you. So again, here in this sentence, this Concord is functioning as a pronoun. So you see a dog, ubona inja. Now, the differences are beginning to show now. In the third sentence, Mary sees the dog. Okay, here we have our subject, Mary, and see, and then the dog. What is that you? That you is what we call a Concord. Here it's very clear you have the subject, but you still have a Concord. In other words, in Zulu, if I didn't have that you, I wouldn't be sure whether it is the same Mary that sees the dog. So by having that you are linking the action with the subject. That's what the Concord does. It links the action and the subject. That's why some people call it a link word. The same thing happens here. Let's look at this sentence. It says the boys see the dog. Again, you remember this word, abafana, which means boys, and then you know inja, which means a dog, and then you have that verb, which means see. What is that BA? That is your Concord. Where does it come from? It comes from the BA of abafana. In the same way, I didn't explain this, that you over there in Ubona, it comes from that you from Umeri, and that's what you see over here. So if I didn't have this BA over here next to the action, I would have not known whether it is the same boys that see the dogs. In fact, in Zulu, you cannot have the verb alone. The verb needs a concord to go with it, because that's how I know who's doing that action. A verb alone would not work in Zulu. It will be wrong unless it is a command. And I'll explain that later. Again, you go to this sentence over here. You, meaning you all, you see a dog. We see over here the NI, which means you. Again, over here, we see again the concord playing the role of a pronoun. Something all happens over there, the SI, which means we, and there is no subject there. The subject is represented by the SI, which is we, at the same time, which you can claim that this is a pronoun. In this case, again, the concord functioned as a pronoun. So, I guess my definition of the concord, I'm going back to it. A concord is that word that helps us to understand who's doing the action. It is important to understand that in some cases it works as a pronoun, in some cases it doesn't. Thank you for listening. We'll catch up again because we need to talk about other parts of the concord. Thank you.